I have the pleasure here with Nathan from Bitcoiner Jobs. Hey, Nathan, how are you doing?
Good, man. You?
Awesome. So I just came from Miami, the big conference, and obviously a lot of people, want to find jobs, land their dream jobs at the Bitcoin conference. Maybe start with that. Like, how did you actually find your job in Bitcoin?
So a little bit of backstory. My background is in recruitment and people operations before joining the Bitcoin industry. So my route was when I fell down the rabbit hole, I was trying to find a job. It was very difficult to find jobs for people in HR. It's still early. There's not too many of those jobs. So I was just networking in and around Twitter and Telegram, and I met Corey, CEO and founder of Swan, who does a lot of community stuff. He was at the time trying to help people find jobs in the industry, and he was doing it through sort of just sharing it on Twitter, trying to collate candidates in like a Google sheet. Needed it to scale as there were a lot of Bitcoiners trying to find jobs. And then coincidentally, around the same time he was running that initiative, I was in the channel, and he also met the CEO of a software product for building niche community job boards. So he threw the idea out there on Telegram. I saw it as an opportunity to get involved with the space because I couldn't find a job at the time. I was still working in my fiat job. So yeah, I built Bitcoiner Jobs, worked hand in hand with Corey to launch it, put it out there, and then it just sort of snowballed. And we agreed that it made sense for me to join Swan, initially part-time, but very shortly after that, full-time. And then we roll it into Swan as one of our many community initiatives.
All right. So clearly, I think networking is important. So maybe a lot of young people, they're struggling to find a good position, or even to make the right decision for their career in general. So maybe, and times are changing, right? So we have this AI revolution basically coming, and just a lot of disruption, I think, or structural change just naturally. And so as a general, career advice, could you share like what do you think are the basics in 2023 or the coming years that that people should bring?
Yeah, I think just in general, and it's been this way for a short while now, is you can really try before you buy in the world of your career. I think it's, if you put your mind to it, you can earn money. If it's just about the money, you can get money to get by. But finding a career that you're aligned with and you're passionate about, I think you can do a lot of trying and getting involved with a community, networking, whether that's in the Bitcoin industry or any industry. Yeah, that would be my main, because you've got to work in something that you're passionate about, and there's so many different fields out there. This is beyond being a doctor and a brain surgeon that you clearly have to go to school for and university and study for years on end, right, to get that right. But just generally in traditional industries, you can try. You can do a lot of research. If you want to try a bit of coding, you can go and learn for free. You don't have to go and pay for a coding boot camp until you've realized that you're committed to coding. You can, if you want to try some form of consulting, you can spin up a website network and try and help some people and see if it gets traction and see if you like it. So I think just putting in the work to understand whether or not you're going to enjoy that career is probably the best way to go. So try lots of different things. There's plenty of time. Because otherwise you might just get stuck into something that you're not going to enjoy and you're going to be there for years.
Excellent. Yeah. A lot of people also, I see they are currently in a job, but unhappy about it because, it's a fiat job they don't fully enjoy. And, I always think that people maybe want to work in Bitcoin, but they really feel unhappy with their fiat work. But I often think they shouldn't be, because there's a lot of work that isn't in Bitcoin, right? That is very important, that we also need. And so, would you say somebody that's currently fiat mining, and also I think just strategically, right? I mean, fiat mining might be way more profitable, and you can get more Bitcoin. But if somebody's clearly unhappy and wants to transition, or just burns for Bitcoin, what would you say is the right way to look at this for someone that wants to transition out of the fiat world and really wants to work in Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think so. Two things to touch on there. One, just quickly, is not everyone's going to work in and on Bitcoin, but everyone will be a Bitcoiner eventually. So it's easy to think for a lot of people that to work in Bitcoin, I should just change my career, drop everything I love, learn how to code, because that's the only way to land a job, because the number of engineering and development jobs is much higher. But you'll soon work out that unless you're passionate about computer science or web development or anything in that field, you'll get bored of it just like anything else. So we're very much on the path of we're focused on the Bitcoin industry now, but in the future it will be based on the people being Bitcoiners. So you can run a construction firm, be the owner of that building firm as a Bitcoiner, and think, I'm just going to hire more Bitcoiners. You're still going to have more fun at work. You're going to be aligned. Your people you're employing are going to understand proof of work. So you're probably going to get better results. And that can happen across all industries. So yeah, not everyone's going to have the opportunity to work directly on Bitcoin. And then to your next point is, there are a lot of people that probably can stack more Bitcoin by working a fiat job and earning more. Like, it's still early in the Bitcoin industry. So, a lot of people are joining startups. And when you join startups, a lot of it is passion led. You still get paid, but you might not get paid the same amount as you would in the fiat world. But there's obviously, with the time preference that Bitcoiners have, you're more likely to gain equity in those businesses that you're joining in the startup land, so that it would pay off later on down the line and you're working towards a bigger mission.
Excellent. I wonder about your insight, what makes a Bitcoin company different to a traditional one, or from a different sector. So is there something in particular that you would say sticks out that makes a Bitcoin employer very different to others? I mean, it might be, that the culture, I mean, obviously I think naturally, right, Bitcoiners are Bitcoiners and they understand what mission they're on, and so do the teams and businesses that work on solving certain problems. But would you say it's, for example, I mean, still finance in a way, right? Is it just as fast paced as finance? Just as, let's say, maybe math and data focused like finance? Could you maybe share from your insight there? Is there a clear differentiation between Bitcoin employers and the culture and all that towards the other sectors?
I think clearly, yes. I think I spent a lot of my time before building teams for various different industries. It was all technology focused, but various different industries. And there's always a North Star. There's always a mission of the company. And that mission can sometimes, if you take sort of like clean energy industry, you've got a lot of companies there, they're working towards a bigger mission. But I haven't seen them as dialed into the bigger mission as I have seen Bitcoiners. And I can speak from experience of working at Swan, where the bar is set at hiring Bitcoiners. And Corey has joked, well, it's probably not a joke, but it sounds like a joke on other podcasts, where like one of the interview questions is as simple as like, do you know how to pronounce Stephan Livera? Like, it's like, if you haven't heard of or listened to Stephan Livera, it's a good sign. And that, it is a little bit of a joke, but I think setting the bar of only hiring Bitcoiners at Swan it's paid off, and it continues to pay off. And I can see that from definitely from a cultural standpoint, is everyone's on a bigger mission. Everyone's dialed in. Everyone understands proof of work. Everyone's super humble. Like there's no fear of speaking out, pushing back. It's a very flat structure. And when you're hiring Bitcoiners, like you're pulling some of the brightest minds from their line of work to align them on a bigger mission. So I think what you get from that is they just move incredibly fast, and they're incredibly nimble and agile. And yeah, they just get stuff done. Like it's just here to work, and then out of core hours, people are on Twitter or they're doing podcasts or they're spinning up side projects, and it's just 24/7 focused on Bitcoin. And I definitely haven't seen anything like it in any of the teams I've worked in across all of the different industries that I've worked in.
Excellent. So what would you say are the 3 most important things to get a job in Bitcoin?
The key one is understanding that it's early. So you're not going to just get a job from pinging your CV left, right, and center and hoping that it gets seen among the pile. Like you're going to have to push things a little bit harder. So understanding that, and that it's going to take drive and passion to push yourself to the top of the pile. The second one I think would be proof of work, like understanding again that it's early. There's more candidates applying for jobs than there are jobs. So spin up a project, showcase what you can do beyond the CV, whether it's an educational website, a podcast, a small little product, like whatever it is, just
writing for bitcoinnews.com also helps.
Yeah, writing for Bitcoin News. Yeah, just contributing in any way you can to show that you're invested, not just financially, like time and energy is invested in Bitcoin. You understand it, and it's a great way to showcase what you can do. And then you've got a third one is don't be afraid of going after what you want through networking and asking questions and sliding into DMs and following up. Like you've got to come to top of mind for these employers. Like if you really want to work for them, you've got to be top of mind. And if the timing's not right when you do follow up and apply, it doesn't mean you shouldn't follow up 3 months later, 6 months later, or that you see a new job posting and you want to take a sidestep in your career just to get foot in the door. Just make that obvious and clear to the employer that you're targeting, and you'll stand out a bit better just following those 3 things, I think.
Excellent. So what are the most common jobs listed currently on Bitcoiner Jobs? Is there a focus?
I think the obvious sign is that there's a lot of technical jobs, but that's a given. Bitcoin is, beyond the scientific discovery, it's a technical solution. So yeah, a lot of jobs are technical. You tend to need, heavy hitting engineering teams to build all of these ideas and bring them to fruition. But I mean, you can jump onto the bitcoinerjobs.com and play around with the filters, look at the job categories. There's finance, marketing, sales. There's all typical jobs that you'd find in the tech industry, right? There's all of the same departments driving the businesses forward. But the other good thing with Bitcoiner Jobs as well is because we support early stage projects, because we don't charge, right? It's free to post. That gives a platform to early stage projects to also find co-founders. So we have had jobs that even at that level come through to Bitcoiner Jobs before. Awesome.
All right. So maybe final question then. Share a little bit about Bitcoiner Jobs, what mission you're on, and you mentioned some insights that are perhaps positive or just interesting, and next steps for you.
Yeah, so Bitcoin in Jobs is a community initiative driven by Swan. I think the clearest way to explain it is we want to offer a platform where Bitcoiners can find Bitcoin-only jobs and can find them all. We don't charge to post. So what that means is companies at all stages, even if they're watching the budget, which a lot of startups are doing, means they can post all of their jobs, because traditional job boards you'd pay $100-200. It means you're either not going to post your jobs or you're going to cherry pick the ones you think are most important. So the community is not going to see all of them. So yeah, next steps for us is just continue to grow it, engage with the community, bring new employers on. I think we're at just over 210 employers on the board. Not all of them have live jobs, obviously, but yeah, just continue to encourage them to post so we can provide that signal to the community.